You know, recently I had a thought that was kind of interesting but also kind of scary. Would I ever have discovered my interest in film photography if I didn't have a YouTube channel? And that made me think about the impact that content creation has had on my life. You know, YouTube is so full of videos about why you should start creating content today, why you should start a YouTube channel in 2025. But most of these videos focus on the monetary aspect. They focus on how much ad revenue you're gonna get, how many followers you're gonna have, how many fans you're gonna have, how much your fellow humans are gonna respect you for the things you make. Now, that's not the reality for most of the people who start a YouTube channel. I've been making videos since I was like 14 years old, and in that entire time I was never able to monetize any of my channels, and I never had any sort of impressive follower counts. Still, I think YouTube has had a big impact on my life, and I do want to talk about it. You know, not everything is positive, but we're going to focus on the positives in this video. Maybe there's another video at some point. So let's stick with this example. So the reason why I ever even started being interested in cameras was because I had a YouTube channel and I wanted to buy the Sony CV10 to create better YouTube videos. That was kind of like the camera everybody used to recommend, like budget-friendly vlogging camera. So I bought this camera for the purpose of creating my videos, and that then had my grandpa asking, "Oh, you're interested in cameras, you like photography and cameras and stuff. I can give you my old Canon A1 if you want to try it out." So I took it, and am I going to try this thing? Well, of course, it's going to be a great video, right? I can make a video shooting my first roll of film, doing film photography for the first time, and talking about my experience. It's going to be cool content for people to watch, and I'm going to have tried a new thing, and I'm going to have had a good time, and maybe I find a new hobby that I'm going to continue doing for the next months, probably even years, and collecting a bunch more cameras, shooting a bunch more film. And really the way all of this happened was just because, one, I had the YouTube channel, so I looked into cameras to create content with, and two, once I kind of had the opportunity to try film photography, one big motivator for me to actually do it was, well, I'm going to be able to post it and people might watch it. You're kind of getting two benefits in one. You're going to have tried a new thing, you're going to have had fun, experienced the world, and you're also going to have something interesting to talk about online. Now, do you want your life and all of your hobbies to be dictated by the almighty algorithm? Probably not, right? You don't want that, because it can end up in things like all of these creators that you might have seen doing the same thing over and over again, even though they don't enjoy it anymore, because that's just what they built their channel around and that's what gets some views. You may even stop yourself from trying new things in fear of losing viewers if you switch your channel to a different kind of topic or make videos about a topic that your followers aren't interested in. So it can have the exact opposite effect if you're not being careful. But if you're smart with it and you build a channel like this one that's all about me trying new things and sharing my experience, learning new things with you guys, I do think that it can be a great tool for you to get out into the world and try new things. One recommendation about that though, I would be careful with one thing. I used to think that if I try a new thing and I don't enjoy it, that's fine, because I can still make a video about why I didn't enjoy it, and then at least it doesn't like feel like I wasted any time, you know, not wasted time, but you get what I mean. It's like the kind of potential downsides of trying things of, oh, I didn't enjoy it, now it's kind of gone, because, well, at least you can still make a video about why you didn't enjoy it and you're still kind of getting something out of the experience. But I actually stopped doing that, because that video is inevitably going to be recommended to the people who are going to be the most offended by your take on a thing that they spent their whole lives doing and that they absolutely love and that they're absolutely experts in. That's just kind of how the algorithm works, I guess, and that's going to lead to just not the most fun content creation experience, you know, negative comments and all of that stuff. You can still do it if you want to, but I generally try to stay positive and more so focus on the positive experiences I've had, because that just creates a more positive space for your community, for your followers, and for you yourself to create. Number two is public speaking. You guys may know that I'm a university student, and that includes many presentations, and many people are scared of giving presentations, speaking in front of people. But for me that was never really an issue. And I do think that content creation had an effect on that. Of course, there is differences. You guys aren't physically here. I'm somewhere in some forest. I don't know where I am. I also don't have internet connection, so my script is gone. I can't actually read out what I wrote down for this video, so let's hope I remember everything. But still, I do think that recording videos like this does help you train, following a script, reading out things that you had written down, keywords or a script, in a somewhat fluent way. And of course, the benefit here is I can edit in case I mess up any of my sentences, but it still is mostly like a good training. And I think it also helped me learn how to speak in an entertaining and engaging way, in a way that will make people want to listen to me and not just tune off, turn on a different video, or go on their phone and don't listen to my presentation. That's also something that I for sure learned through content creation. Many people are also, why did the sun vanish? I know people may also be scared of looking stupid while giving their presentation, and I mean it's a valid fear because you don't know what you look or sound like while you're in front of their speaking. The good thing about videos like this is I spend many hours watching myself talk while I'm editing these videos, and that's also something that kind of helps me realize that I just look like a normal guy while I'm talking. I don't look like super horrible or unprofessional or anything like that. I know what I look like while I present something to the camera and while I present something to an audience that I might be speaking in front of. And if you give as many presentations as I do, one criticism that you may receive, that I think everybody has received at some point, is something like you did something weird with your hands, or you said too many times, or some sort of other, like, I don't know, or something like that. Just words that you say completely unconsciously when you don't know what else to say. But that's not good in a presentation, and that's a criticism that I think basically everybody has received at some point from like a student, a teacher or a professor. And the good thing about making videos like this is that you yourself will watch back the audio you recorded and you will realize that sort of stuff about yourself. Like, I've realized that in many of my videos I do this type of stuff. At the end of each sentence I might kind of soak in air through my teeth, like, and I make that noise every time I'm done saying a sentence. So that's something that I realized through making these videos, and it's something that I'm now working on trying to reduce or trying to stop doing, and that's also going to help me in my public speaking and presentations. So I think there's many benefits, and if you struggle with giving presentations or public speaking, I think recording videos is something that, even if you don't post them, but recording yourself speaking to a camera is something that can absolutely help, and then you may also post it if you want to. Next off is something which I deem to be very important: learning at your own speed. This is especially true for somebody like me who does a similar thing in their real life career as they do on YouTube. In my career and university kind of education, I do social media marketing. So most of what I do there, creating social media adverts and content for companies to post on their Instagram page or whatever, it's pretty similar to what I do over here. And I think many of you guys will be able to relate to that sort of stuff where you're in school learning this stuff, but that's just way too slow for you and you're kind of getting bored. You're taking a class about something that you already know and you're just sitting there thinking, why am I here? And you just get bored, and then you don't study and you kind of tune out from the whole thing. In the same way as well, though, things may be going way too fast. I took a filmmaking class talking about how to produce like short films and stuff like that, some filmmaking things, and that class was 1 semester long with maybe like a total of not even 3 months of lectures, maybe like 2 months of like 1.5 hours per week of lectures. That's of course just not enough to really learn all of this stuff, and that was a class that was fairly important to me because while I wouldn't consider my YouTube videos to be like short films or anything like super cinematic, there still is a lot of those kind of principles and learnings that I want to apply to my videos to make them better, to make that kind of cinematic vlog type of video. So this channel gives me a great opportunity to now, even though my university has decided that it will not bother trying to teach me any more of that stuff, I can continue kind of applying those learnings to my videos here to try to learn it, to actually understand it, and to actually get that practice and to actually be able to do those things, which I don't think I would be able to do if that one class was all I had. In the same way, when things are kind of moving too slow, you're kind of getting bored of your education and you're not really focusing on it. I took a photography class, but it was like a beginner photography class. So there was lectures about, aperture and depth of field and stuff like that. The things I already kind of know from having done some of my own photography, of course. So those lectures, things were just going a bit slow there for a bit because we were covering all the basics that I had already learned. Later on there was some more interesting, more advanced stuff which I enjoyed, but for that time this channel also gave me a great opportunity to continue using this channel and those cameras to learn new things, not just only learn the things that I already kind of know and being bored that I'm not progressing fast enough, but also taking my own cameras and working on my own photography projects to kind of learn some of the more advanced things or just practice some more advanced things while the class was just a bit behind me. And then later on, once we got to things that I didn't know yet, I was already kind of prepared to face that. And I hope I'm kind of making sense here, but having something like this, a YouTube channel or some sort of content creation outlet, is a great way for you to kind of be in control of the pace you're learning at. And you're feeling like I have some more capacity in my brain this week, so let me just go on and learn a new editing technique. I might need some sort of animation, so let me learn how to animate that thing in Resolve. And similarly, when you feel like things have been moving too fast and your class has already moved on from things that you don't understand yet, you can use your channel to continue applying and studying that stuff. And I think that's a great way to learn. Also, you do just kind of have that way to not only get the theoretical input that you might get in something like school, but you always have a nice way for you to actively practice the things in real life. And that's also great for learning. And I ask you to please take this recommendation. If there's anything from this video that you do take away, I hope it's this one, because learning on your kind of own social media content creation projects will not only let you control the pace at which you learn, but it will also just take away so much of the pressure. As much as school probably wants to say that it's a space for experimentation and trying out things and stuff like that, it really isn't, right? If you experiment too much on a project, especially if it's a group project, you try too many new things, you do something that's too risky, then you just constantly run the risk of not meeting your deadlines, kind of like failing the class, getting back bad grades. And if it's a group project, it's not only you're also screwing over your teammates who now have to hustle double as hard to try to meet a deadline because you fucked something up, or who will now also have bad grades. On this channel there is no deadlines. If I try something that's risky or too new in a video and it ends up not working out, then I can just delay the video or not post it. There is no pressure of that. Maybe there is a few followers that are upset that there's no video this week, or some people that are upset that something that I posted doesn't meet their standard of what they want to watch, but the pressure still is a lot less than trying new things in a school or even a work environment. I mean, be too experimental at work. I've done stuff like, I want to use a new camera that I've never used before to film a thing, and then all of the shots were blurry. That's not the situation that you really want to be in if you can avoid it. Next up is creative fulfillment, and again this is especially true for somebody like me who does a similar thing on social media as they do in their real life career. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of the things that I make in my kind of university or career aren't necessarily things that I would find creatively fulfilling, that I would be proud of, that I find meaningful or important to my life or the world, which I guess this channel also isn't like important to the world, but you get what I mean. Having this channel as an outlet for me to create some things that I find just more meaningful, more fulfilling, more something that I'm proud of having made and having released it into the world. And I think that's another great benefit to your life from having this kind of outlet where you are in control of what you're making and you can really make the things that you find meaningful, important, or just fun, if that's what you're looking for. I mean, it's just great to know that I'm also producing something that isn't just like a social media ad that people will just swipe past. And I'm sorry guys, but I need to make money somehow, right? I know none of you want to see that side of things, but that's just the thing. And I think if that was the only type of content that I was creating in my life, I don't think I would be very happy with that. So having something that I can point to, that's something that I'm really proud of, that's a good thing. You guys may also know that I like to promote some of my own older videos on this channel, and I will do it once again, but trust me, there is a point. I made this video called How Social Media Turned Me Into a Liar. It was a video about media literacy, especially aimed at younger consumers of social media content, trying to kind of teach them how much of the things they view online is actually like real. And same as with all content online, these videos are the same, you know. Some parts are scripted that might appear spontaneous. Some things are not as fun as I make them seem in my videos, you know. I'm not being completely truthful in my videos because I'm playing a character, I'm playing a role in here, and I think that's not a bad thing. But in that video I made a point that making your own content is going to teach you how that content is made, and it was the same for me. The more I made my own content, the more I realized which parts of other people's content that I was watching was probably not real, was probably faked, scripted, where they were probably being inauthentic, because that's how I made my own videos. You know, I brought up that example of kind of commentary videos online, talking about how most of those people probably don't even care about the things they're talking about, because I used to make commentary videos and I didn't care about many of the videos I made. I was just looking at what people are talking about right now and I was talking about it. I didn't even care. But that's kind of a thing that you will kind of learn and realize as you make your own content. And that's a recommendation I gave in that video, to make your own content to better your own understanding of how social media works. And I will bring it up in this video again because I think it kind of adds on to the point that I'm trying to make here in this video. Making your own social media content will help you be a better consumer as well, or a more mindful consumer, more aware of how the things you're watching were made and what that means for that content, how real, how true, or how fake it really is.